What's going on, guys? So today's video is not on my Camaro, surprisingly. It's something else that I've wanted for a really long time. A giant lathe. So this is a 1943 Springfield 16-inch lathe, and I don't know the whole history about it. It's hard to find information on these lathes, but if you come over here to the stamping, from what I found online, this would mean the year, and this is the serial number, as in like number in production. So this would be the 110th lathe of 1943, and then there's a 21 here. I think that's just a catalog number from wherever this ended up. I got a 3-jaw chuck, steady rest, that's the tail stock. I mean, this thing is freaking huge. It was a beast to move. It's 3-phase, so I gotta figure out a phase converter or something to get this thing to work. But everything seems to be working, you know, as it should. There's some weird stuff here I gotta figure out. I don't know what's going on here. But when I bought it, it was working. We powered it up, ran it fine. It was good. So I think the first thing I need to do is to go through and clean this thing, because the guy had repainted it at one point. He had for a long time. He actually replaced this with an even bigger lathe, but it's got like all this like dirt and grease build up, just like it's like it got oil on it and dust landed on it, and you know, it's dirty. So what I was doing is taking a scraper, scraping all this junk off, and then I got some, as I was saying, I got some Purple Power here, and I'm gonna go through, try to scrape off as much grease and dirt as possible. Take the Purple Power, degrease it. I want to do a video rebuilding that chuck, so I think that'd be pretty cool. That tailstock takes 2 people to lift and move. It is freaking huge. I also need to figure out what size motor is on this thing. It's got power control panels like you can see on a freaking building. I don't know that it's the original motor to it. The guy said he thought it was a 5 horsepower motor, but I got into the size of it so I can get the right phase converter. This dude had a huge 30 horse phase converter, so he could run anything that he wanted to. But I got to figure out what size I need to get to run this thing. So I got some extras. I got a quick change tool post from the guy, yeah, this chip pan is huge. No coolant. This pump over here is an oil pump for the gearbox. And yeah, so I'm gonna get to working on this thing, and once I make some good progress, I will check back in with you guys. But I am I'm freaking excited here, guys. So let me dig into this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, after a night of drinking and relatively dirty hands and a bunch of dirty rags, we have a mostly cleaned machine. A lot of it was just like a bunch of dust that had gotten stuck to this thing, to oil that was on it. I got the chuck mounted. It is a 3-jaw and has very little run out. It's a thou. So it works pretty smoothly. I mean, it'll work. It's fine. It's a the brand was on here. Let's see. Buck chuck. This is a 10-inch diameter. You can also flip these jaws around and grab on things. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Putting it on was pretty simple. Using the giant freaking wrench for it. The ways cleaned up good. There's some marks up by the chuck, but they're not too bad. The whole carriage moves, I mean, really, really easily. Smooth. I oiled everything, tried to clean as many chips out of it. I did notice one problem. If you look here, see that crack when I move this guy? I don't know how big of a deal that is. I also rotated this guy around to actually turn on the what's that called? Anyways, it works now. And then you can see where this arm, that divot there, where I've been riding up against it. So it's obviously this broke off at some point. I think I'm just going to drill and tap it and then put some sort of ball in there just to have a handle on it. I went through and started oiling everything that I could. All these little oiling points here. You can see how freaking clean it got. I need to figure out a way to get this black staining stuff off of here. And I'm thinking what I might do is put paint or something on here and then sand it off so the letters and numbers are colored so you can actually read it. All of these pinned on things are copper, which is pretty cool. I also took, if you can see it very well, the giant motor. Here's my hand against it. I mean, it's freaking huge. It's a 3 horsepower. I figured that out. There's a plate all the way up on the top. I ended up having to use a inspection mirror to get to it and find it. I like to take these covers off at some point and try to inspect the gears and oil them and try to make my life easy. I'm really just trying to clean it and get everything as good as possible because I don't know this machine yet. I haven't operated it. I haven't done anything with it. So I wanted to get it clean so if there's something wrong with it or if it's leaking somewhere or whatever, it makes troubleshooting a lot easier. It's like an old car. Just try to eliminate as many variables as possible. And it looks good. I mean, it's turning out good. I did find some George D. Miller, Cleveland, Ohio. I'm going to clean this plate off, but I wanted to find information on him. I'm trying to find some history on this machine. And that 21 that was over here, if I can move the cross slide over. Which also moves pretty good. There's also a 21. So that must just be a stamping for when this was made. I think the motor's original. I don't know about all this electrical stuff up here, if it's just been rewired or not. I haven't seen another machine like this. It's hard to come by these machines. There is a guy online that has the same year that he completely restored. So I was going to look to that and see if I can find anything that'll help me on this one. Assuming they made them all the same. I don't know if they like changed them throughout the year or whatever. But you can see the cross slide's also graduated for angle. You couldn't even read that earlier. I've been oiling everything, trying to clean it up as much as I can. I'm thinking of painting all these handles, painting them black, maybe making the ball part orange or something so I can see them better and it looks cooler. So I think the next step, and at some point I'm going to rebuild the chuck. I might even just get a forge off for it. I like to have both. And that thing is so freaking heavy. I ended up laying a board across the ways so I wouldn't screw them up. So yeah, I need to get this thing wired. I need to get 220 out here to the garage and then figure out a phase converter or VFD or something to convert it to 3-phase. This is 220 3-phase. And then I need to figure out oil in the machine and get everything powered up and making some cuts. I want to work on cleaning it tomorrow. I still need to get it on the ground. It's still up there on this ends on casters from where we swung it around. So I got to figure out, I can't necessarily just put it on a car jack and just lower it down, because then I can't get the car jack back up from underneath it. And these giant bolts here are to level it. But I got some run in the garage, so I don't know how much I'll be able to get out. I mean, I think I can get 90% of it out, but I still need to clean up the steady rest and the tailstock. And yeah, so we're getting really close. I'm getting excited, but it cleaned up great. It looks really good. I'm sure you guys will remember from the beginning of the video that how bad it was. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. So and this thing does work. I saw it run and do fine before I bought it. I'm assuming all these gears work. I haven't used them all, so yeah. And I think the original the control panel was here, and I don't know what the original cover looked like, or if there's one missing from here, or if there was an accessory that went onto this gear here. I really don't know. And then there's also the grab a flashlight here. This through bore that goes through to the chuck, which is pretty cool. So I can put some really long pipe here if I wanted to. Might end up replacing the belts on there. They look a little worn. I mean, they work now. I think I'm just overthinking things. And then dealing with all the electrics on the back of here, cleaning up the back of it. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. Everything, I mean, it's in really good shape. So it'll do everything I want it to do for sure. It's got some odd thread sizes on here. But, you know, it's awesome. I'm really excited. And this will be a great machine to learn on and keep and fix up, and just a good lathe that is just way overbuilt. It's 80 years old. I will never wear this thing out ever, so pretty excited. I gotta move some stuff in the garage around. I thought I had this place all organized, then I got a 10-foot machine, so that's how it goes. My grandfather was a machinist, and he left me a whole bunch of machining tools. It's hard to see, but all of those are thread, form tools, cutting tools. Then that red toolbox is all full of end mills and reamers and stuff like that. So I got a bunch of high-speed steel tooling, but I need like a parting tool, and I might try to get some carbide stuff, because I don't have a great way to grind high-speed steel. But I need to get the machine running and good to go before I do that. So yeah, so that's the state of this thing. I'm going to do some more work to it and give you another update. Some of it's just cleaning up and putting it back on there and together, but yeah, so we'll circle back hopefully in a few days, guys. So thanks, and I will see you in the next one.